right? But everything is pretty darn symmetrical. So today what we're gonna do is open up Mike's hips, we're gonna open up his abdominals, and we're gonna carve every little fiber in the Titan's back.
Woo! Michael Hearn here. Jimmy, it is a pleasure to have you here.
Jimmy Bluff, surgery without the knife.
Surgery without the knife. So a lot of the stuff you're seeing of me is from 5 decades ago in the 80s. And I've been doing this, but I've been doing this at the highest level since the 80s. And I'm only here because I try to find the very best, especially as I get older, but it's preventative. I know you guys always wait until you get injured, you wait until this, wait until that. I am not saying I've never been injured, but I have had owies. And I've been lucky enough to be preventative. And so you're gonna see over the next 4 weeks a transformation. Now I'm saying this will be interesting to me because I'm a skeptic. I'm like, okay, are you gonna be able to really do this? Because a lot of this has been here for a while. My man says it's gonna happen. You guys are gonna be able to see this over the next 4 weeks of scoping and fixing the body of what I've done.
It's gonna be exciting, you guys. So my specialty, what I trademark, surgery without the knife, advanced muscle reconstruction. I specialize in separating each and every muscle fiber, getting in between the connective tissue where the muscle bellies line up, and basically realigning all the nerve channels, realigning all the fascia, and realigning everything so Mike can find his center a lot easier. You know, like we discussed a little bit before, holding patterns, training, you know, side sleeping, a little bit of dehydration, stress in the world. A lot of this stuff can add up. You know, our stomach regulates most of the hormones in our body, so when we get stressed, you know, I don't eat, some people eat a lot. So just today we're gonna kind of release any restrictions that's holding Mike back, fascially, a little bit spiritual.
If you guys, I'm in the industry, I'm deep into it. He has a reputation of greatness. And so this is like an honor for me to be able to work with him today and to do this. So it's like the names, the who of who have worked with him and have preached his name. So this is gonna be the start of this. Let's get rolling.
You know, because I sculpt, right? So it's like when you look at the canvas, you're like, whoa, what could we possibly improve on a guy like you? You know what I mean? But opening up your psoas, tucking your shoulders back a little bit, just from, you know, the chronic holding patterns, traveling, that doesn't even count what you guys are doing in the gym.
You just said, which they're never gonna understand, the traveling. Yeah. Well, you're just traveling, it's fine. It's well, it beats on your body.
Yeah, and with how wide your shoulders are, and I tell all my clients this, you can't not almost be protracted.
You see?
The minute your diaphragm sucks into your ribs and you're like, what? What's that cramp? Everything sticks together, and then little by little, you can't get a pump in your chest like you used to. You're feeling a little bit of pain, a little bit of numbness. It's so common. And like I said, like when I take a step into some of my musicians or one of your lives, I was like, I've traveled, not nearly to the extent you do, but you can't cross your legs on airplanes. I woke up coming back from Dallas after being in an airplane, and my leg cramped all the way down my adductors into my foot, and I was like, that was from an airplane ride in bumper to bumper traffic, and if I didn't know how to release that, that could have affected me for months in the gym. You know, so yeah, just a little bit of maintenance on the fascial system and the connective tissue, because little by little everything starts to slide, get a little bit imbalanced, and you might not notice that walking, you know, to the grocery store, but when you've got 1,000 pounds on your shoulders, just that little bit, when you turn off a couple of muscle fibers and instead experience like a loss of strength or a little bit of pain, that gets in your head, and it's not necessary. So face me. He's perfect, world. So what I see here is this right arm is pointing at me right here, right? So that whole arm needs to be pulled back, because that's going to be pulling on your scapula. You know, obviously you're able to do 400 or 500 pounds, you know, over your shoulders, which blows my mind. Once we get those arms back,
it's 2,000 pounds.
2,000 pounds. This trap is just a little bit elevated, and this arm also has just a tiny bit of rotation, but I mean, everything is completely symmetrical. You know what I mean? So this trap here is just a little bit more elevated than here. And again, that could be from his chest pulling everything forward, right? But everything is pretty darn symmetrical. So today what we're gonna do is open up Mike's hips, we're gonna open up his abdominals, and we're gonna carve every little fiber in the Titan's back. You know, you figured out how to unlock your body at the highest level and maintain it, which is mind-blowing. Like, people just really have no idea to try to step foot in your shoes for a day. They wouldn't even be able to eat what you eat, let alone train like you train, because you've been doing it so long. So this, go ahead. Nice job. This will improve your digestion, your breathing. Awesome. One more time.
I think my relationship too. So without me telling him where to go and what to do, he finished the right side and now he's moving on to the left. But he's not doing the exact same on the left that he did on the right. And now what that tells me, and because he's hitting things that I feel, is that he can feel what needs to be touched and moved. That's pretty impressive. Because obviously he doesn't know what I'm feeling, but he can feel that, I guess, I don't know, energy or the tightness of it. And so he's doing the left side different than the right, which we're all off a little bit of imbalance. And so it's amazing to feel him connect with the body on that level. It's pretty impressive.
Thank you, my friend. So yeah, so the first thing we're doing before we unlock Mike's back is we're opening up his trunk. So as Mike deadlifts and as Mike squats, instead of his abs pulling him down, now he's going to be able to sit back in the saddle and allow his chest to be a little bit more centered. So this is going to help with his digestion, breathing, and I basically trace, you know, all the connective tissue out. Once I see the imbalance, I know what has to happen in the body. I also channel a little bit, and over the last 20 years, it's become pretty conscious competent. So I basically sculpt every single muscle fiber and the connective tissue in between. And you know, a lot of healers and therapists work with their eyes closed because it's not necessary to see with your eyes when you can feel what's happening inside the body. So one day I was on my Ducati watching a woman run, and I glanced and saw her take one stride, and in my head I had a Polaroid of every imbalance and where she'd probably be experiencing pain. Go ahead, pull. And in the gym, you can be most effective when you can access the most power from your body. It's all about balance. Okay. A lot of times, you know, when we side sleep, we have a tendency to internally rotate. A guy this size, how the heck does he look at his cell phone as he's sitting, you know, rotates forward. So this shoulder here is just a little bit higher than this one. So what we're gonna do is open this up. We're gonna take a few minutes to unwind his arm and his subscap, and his trap here, you can see, is just in a little bit different place than the left arm. So once this opens up, you're gonna see a pump without him working out. And it has a consistency of steel wool.
I have to talk to you about that because you and I talk our same language. We believe
right here.
Yeah.
Let's pitch you up. You feel this? You see this, guys? So this is the deltoid, the rotator, the bicep tendon, right? And you know how strong Mike is. So when we open this up, this is actually a good lesson. I mean, you have very minimal imbalances, but the fact that you're as strong as you are, every power lifter I've ever touched, even after their injury, has always broken their PR.
I got a question for you.
Yep.
Two things I have. Curiosity. The muscle. Does it feel fresh?
Feels
healthy.
Yeah, hydrated and healthy. It doesn't feel
Not
like beef
dense
jerky.
and locked up and.
Yeah, you can see the muscle bellies, you can see the fibers, but you can also see where some of these bundles, like that, right? So what I'm gonna do is get in every single one of these bundles of adhesions and fibers, and we're gonna split and release all that. And in a second here, we're gonna see even more striations coming through.
You guys are curious about the pressure and how hard it is or soft it is. It's gonna be, see if I can explain this well enough for you guys. There's just enough pressure, and I can feel that the level he's at is doing what it needs to do. So sometimes I'll get a massage or something, and I can tell the person is just going, I'm gonna go really, really hard, because that's what it's supposed to be. And they're the kind of book read guy, you know, he went through the study and all that, but there's no experience. I can feel how he's hitting it. That's the best way I can explain it. Man, I know you guys aren't here right now, but man.
You hit it dead on. I have a lot of people, and when I work in the bodybuilding community, that tell me, you can press harder. So I have to clarify. So I ask them, do you want to experience more pain? Is that what you're asking me? And they're like, well, and then they start questioning, because you don't have to experience pain. With my technique, compared to taking my knuckles or a tool into the body, I peel that fascia more in a lateral manner, aside from the energy work that I'm doing. So the whole goal is the client to be able to relax, surrender, and allow me to literally peel every fiber of their body without them fighting me or creating any restrictions.
Makes a lot of sense.
Right?
They're gonna be at home going, what?
It doesn't make sense when someone's screaming, because you're flexing the muscle. And when someone's flexing the muscle and screaming, and someone's applying blunt force trauma, that's where a lot of injuries can happen. So,
see, Mona? Did you see what he said? So at night, less blunt force trauma.
yeah.
Sorry, too late.
Yeah.